Hey everyone, Greg here. My business moved out of Boston, Massachusetts, and now I'm in upstate New York. So I'm doing a couple things right now to essentially rebrand my business. Even though I'm a national company, I like to carve out a specific area because that helps my business grow. So when I was out in Boston, I had some pretty good keyword rankings because I was there for many years. So here's one term, Boston SEO expert. At one point, I was ranking position 2 within Google. Now it dropped off completely. So a couple things that I'm working on right now from my end that I thought would be interesting for you guys to, hear about if you're also going to move your business one day or if you're in the process of doing it already. Some things just to remember. So first is I'm updating this right here. So this used to say Boston SEO expert. Now it says New York. Second, I updated the header 2 tag right over here. Just some technical stuff that I'm doing. One thing that I haven't done yet, which I'm going to hopefully this weekend, is update this footer down here. So it says proudly powered by WordPress. It just means every time my WordPress theme updates, it defaults back to the previous footer setting. What I've done before when I was out in Boston, before I moved, I optimized my footer to call out Charlestown because that's where I lived. So it gave Google and Bing more insight into that I am in Boston, and then this is my exact address. Another thing that I want to share that I'm doing or that I plan to do is something around YMYL. So that stands for Your Money, Your Life. It's a ranking signal for Google. Effectively, Google doesn't want you to be anonymous on the web. They want to know who you are and mainly for credibility. They want to know that somebody is behind this company, which I run, exclusively by myself, but it's still something that it's my life and it's also my money. It's the two things combined. So I'm very transparent about who runs this business, a little bit about me. I talk about that, but you can see here that I need to update again. Right now, I call out Boston, Massachusetts. I'm no longer there. I need to mention that now I'm in upstate New York. There's a couple things that I need to do because effectively it's a big move where Google is. There's a lot of things happening right now. So I have my Google My Business information updated. I have my Bing places updated as well. I've had to register within the city of Saratoga to make sure that they have me on the business records as well. So there's a lot of things going on in the background that I sort of have to go above and beyond to let Google know that now I'm in upstate New York. One other thing that I'm doing as well is I have a tool here called Screaming Frog. And I'm looking at my homepage because that used to rank for all these Boston SEO keywords. And when you go to the in links section here, you can see what the anchor text was that I was linking out to from specific blog posts. So for example, my 9 ways to get more Bing traffic, I linked out to my homepage with the term Boston SEO consulting services. So this is actually a really easy fix. What I need to do is go into the URL, find that anchor text that I linked out and simply change it to New York. One other tip that I mentioned or that I'm going to mention is that when you make a change to a blog post, you should crawl it a couple times within Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster Tools. Effectively, because if I wrote this blog post, let's say 2 years ago, I updated anchor text, Google might not even crawl it, maybe for a few days, few weeks. Unless you do log file analysis, you'll never know. So effectively, I need to change the anchor text, crawl the changes, make Google and Bing re-index it, and then kind of follow the path. And then I can track my keywords on a daily basis to see if I'm moving in the right direction. One more tip that I need to do as well is that even though I ranked organically within Boston for terms like Boston SEO expert or Boston SEO consulting or Boston SEO company, all these different terms that drove consistent traffic and leads to my business, one thing I need to do now is get listed on New York directory sites. So it's not so much about finding random directories just for the sake of link juice. It's very more about finding relevant places that would be good for me to get referral traffic from. So my business, again, was out in Boston. I was part of the Chamber of Commerce. I was part of relevant meetup groups around SEO and paid search and affiliate marketing and WordPress and all that kind of stuff. And I spoke at different events all before COVID. It was a great way for me to get exposed to different working professionals, different entrepreneurs who are out in the city as well, who may needed my service or who bought my SEO workshop or were just looking for a free SEO audit of their site. So I need to do that as well from where I am now. So I need to kind of reset, sort of restart in a way, carve out a new area of expertise in New York. my expectation is that it's going to take about 6 months at a minimum to rank what I want. And when I work with clients, typically I like to give out the between 3 months and 6 months, you'll see some sort of rank change. So you get like the hockey stick effect, usually if there's a lot of search volume for your keywords. But for me, because since I'm going after search engine optimization, and New York is, even though I'm not in New York City, it's still going to be competitive. I know that I'm going after a harder area to crack, essentially. Whereas if I'm trying to rank a catering website, it's a little bit easier for me because the level of competition is just not as severe. So I have more of that expectation that the rankings are going to go quick for a client, but for me, it's going to take a while. So anyway, this is a long video. I figured I would share what I'm doing. I think it's interesting that there's so much work that needs to be done, and it's all hard work, but it's going to pay off. So I hope this video was helpful, especially if you're going through a move as well and you need to rebrand to a different area. Hope some of these tips were, useful. And let me know if you have any questions. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.